Wow, I got this notification on Twitter recently, marking 10 years of me doing this. It is honestly mad to think that 10 years and 30 kilos ago, I was uploading my very first video to YouTube. Back then, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just hanging out with Raf, we were throwing any idea we had up against the wall, just seeing what stuck. I'm incredibly grateful to have picked up 15,000 subscribers in those years that I've been doing this, but I certainly haven't seen that meteoric success that a lot of other channels, even younger than mine, has seen. But one thing I have done is I've learned a lot. And I thought today what I would do is take the opportunity to talk about what I have learned. Lessons I've learned about YouTube, about creativity, and myself from being a small YouTuber. On more than one occasion, I have been asked, how would I get started on YouTube? This usually manifests in 2 questions and a statement. What gear do I need? What should I make videos about? And oh, I'm scared. What I find eternally interesting about this is there's only a tiny fraction of this which is actually technical questions, and the rest of it is emotional barriers. We'll do these in order, so we'll start with the gear. And the very simple answer here is the amount of gear you need to get started is incredibly minimal. The truth is the best gear is the gear that you have, especially when you're just starting out. If you don't have any gear at all, there is great gear out there at super budget price points. I'm a massive advocate for doing everything for as cheap as possible, and I really think you can get started without any big financial barriers in your way. I've even picked stuff up at charity shops and car boot sales. To this day, I'm using a BM800 mic that I got on AliExpress for $8. When I'm not using that, I use a karaoke microphone that I found in my nan's loft. You'll be amazed what gear you can find in the homes of your friends and family that they're just not using. My mate Budget Builds got to 100,000 subs on YouTube using Microsoft Paint, Windows Movie Maker, and a PS2 SingStar mic plugged into his computer. If that isn't a success story, then I don't know what is. I used to record my voiceovers by plugging my nan's karaoke mic into a camcorder that I borrowed from work with a towel over my head. You know what? It sounded pretty good. The best thing that you can do is to get started with what you can get hold of today, even if it's just your phone. So with that one out of the way, the next one is, what do I make videos about? And if you were to ask me that today, then I would just ask you a question in return, and that would be, well, what are you into? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What do you look forward to doing in your spare time? And I think that is the most important thing before you get started, is to have an idea of where you want to go. Use your interests to help guide you. Follow the fun. Do you like horror comics? Do you like racing computer games? Do you like Spawn action figures? Do you like making sculptures out of foraged twigs? Whatever it is that you are into, I would recommend that you use that to form part of your core focus. There is a great artist called Andy J. Pizza, and one of the points he raises is find your niche. Your niche interests will be a really good way for you to help establish your voice. And trust me, no matter how niche you think you are, there are people just like you out there. You will find people. I think it's important for you to find that core focus, but I also don't think that you should pigeonhole yourself. Lisa Congdon, who is another very good illustrator, talks about the idea of your personal style being more of an orbit. So you never really land on planet style, so some things can pull you a little further away from your personal style. Sometimes you can bring things further into your style orbit. So you're always kind of moving, and it's never this rigid, static box. You might be into comic books and witchcraft and making pottery. If you had all 3 of those things in your channel, you might feel like you were growing 3 channels at once. I would honestly say if those are 3 things you're genuinely passionate about, I don't see a reason why you couldn't have all 3 on your channel. You will probably grow a lot slower, but there will be overlap, and that will be a really cool and exciting place because that's where you're going to meet really like-minded people. I found this out last year when I created a video which was about my recent learnings doing cognitive behavioral therapy and how it applied to games like Far Cry. There was a very small overlap of people who watched that video, but those who did watch it really liked it. Even though it's one of the videos that has the least views on my channel, it's one of my favorites because it was very personal and the reaction I got was really, really good. Like I previously said though, with the idea of the style orbit, there's no reason that you have to stick with one thing. I'm still branching out into new things 10 years later, and you'll see me continue to branch out in the future. The biggest and most important lesson really here is to start. You can feel your way once you've got going. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Lesson number 1, start. Once you have got started, you might start to notice strange new feelings of doubting yourself and doubting your worth as a creative and what you have to contribute. You might start notice hair growing in strange places that it never did before. This is perfectly natural. Your body is changing as you now become a YouTuber, emerging eventually as a beautiful baby butterfly. Now, in all seriousness, this is creator anxiety, and it is serious. And it is real, and you are not alone in experiencing this. The top 3 things I've learned which help to shut this stupid voice up are 1. There is room for you. 2. Finished is better than perfect. And 3. Should is a dirty word. Don't be striving to always be thinking of something new. Don't be telling yourself that you have to be original in order to have value, or that even if you're covering an unoriginal subject, you need to cover it in an original fashion. You don't. You don't need to be original. You don't have to have original takes. Your voice has value. There is room for you on this platform. If you want to make a video critiquing Hitchcock's camera work or discussing feminism in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, even if that already exists, go ahead and make it as well. Even if your conclusion is exactly the same as someone else's, this doesn't rob your voice of value just because someone else got there first. Steal ideas. Austin Kleont wrote a whole book about this called Steal Like an Artist, and he is a genius. It is correct. I steal ideas all the time. I'm completely unabashed about it. I see a nice thumb, I steal it. I watch a video about something and I think it's interesting, I'll do my own version of that same video. You don't need permission to do something or to copy someone's idea. Go ahead and do it. And the next step from that is, once you've started, finish. Once you start writing, you realize that you want to perfect and you want to polish and you want to make sure that this script is going to be absolutely perfect. And I'm going to tell you now, the radical acceptance is you will never perfect that script. A year after your video goes live, you will still be thinking of things you wish you'd put in that script, or things you wish you'd taken out of that script. I know it's really hard to work through that voice that you have in your head that says,
you know, there's something you missed in there. You really should go back into that and tidy that up, and you should add some more detail to that section.
The honest answer to that voice is, yeah, I know, stupid voice, but it's finished now, so bye-bye, night-night. I've had to do a lot of work around that subject. I've had to do a lot of work around the subject of motivation. I have a full-time job. Making videos happens to be one of my hobbies. And one of the last things that I need to do is to listen to that voice that keeps telling me that I need to be working harder or I need to be being more productive. At the end of the day, this is for fun. If this became a second job, then I'd probably have to find something else to do for fun. So that's an interesting concept for you. I had a whole year back there where I was trying to do 1 video a week. I held myself to this production schedule. What I actually gained was a whole year of stress and annoyance and not being able to go on holiday without having 2 weeks worth of videos uploaded in advance and set to premiere while I'm away, irritating the hell out of my girlfriend because all I was doing was talking about YouTube videos, splitting perfectly good YouTube videos into multiple parts because then that way it would be easier for me to have 1 video per week. The whole thing was just terrible. And the reason for that is because I was just telling myself I have to be productive. I have to make sure that these things are getting out there. I found it to be incredibly toxic. All of this is permeated with the word should. And I've recently just started saying that should is a dirty word, and I do not like saying it. You can if you want. There is no should. You know that bit in Cool Runnings where Doris says, you never see the Swiss team drinking and carrying on? And Sanka's like, yeah, but you never see them smiling either. If they ever saw a pretty girl, they'd yell "Ein, zwei, drei" and try to push her down some ice. I think about that a lot. Kind of similarly to being an Olympic bobsledder. Being a YouTuber isn't my job. By all means, when I turn up for race day, I try my best and I give it what I've got. But if you find yourself sat in the bathtub studying photographs while it turns out your mates are downstairs line dancing with some sexy Canadians, it's possible that you're taking this all a little bit too seriously. You should stop telling yourself what you should be doing and you should just enjoy what you love. After all, this may never be a job, but it will always be your hobby. So have fun, enjoy it, and people that come to it will love it. That has become the single most important thing to me making YouTube. I have made some great friends through this because I found people who I vibe with so closely. I don't think I would find these people in real life. YouTube allowed us to come together with commonality and common ground, and that's probably the biggest and most completely unexpected lesson of all, and that's how many real and genuine friends I've made from doing this. That's pretty amazing. And the things that I've gained through these connections and through this community have become by far my favourite thing about this hobby. I mentioned in my mental health video the concept of a bear in a cage, which the idea is in Far Cry. Sometimes when you're doing the camp, there might be a wild animal that's in a cage, and if you can get the cage open, it gives you a real bonus. It gives you a real boost to a situation that would have been difficult without it. But the fact is, you wouldn't have known that bear was there unless you'd turned up, unless you were actually there doing the thing. And that's how I feel about a lot of the friends I've made here. Like, they were there the whole time, and it required me to go out there and do the work to find them. And they've made my life so much better for being in it. And I'm just thankful that I got started. Doing those streams for Ollie over the last couple of years introduced me to some new channel members who I wouldn't otherwise have interacted with. That then kickstarted really a lot of what's going on in this tiny little community that I've managed to culture over here. The Left 4 Dead and the Halo streams that we did to help us all get through lockdown brought a lot of people together to talk and to work and to share our worries. I didn't think that I would get that when I started this 10 years ago, and I absolutely love it.
It's fantastic.
And so that's really it. Like, that's all the advice I have. This was half planned, it's half ramble. I hope in some small way there's been at least one gem of half decent advice in this quagmire of nonsense that's been firing out of my gob for who knows how long. And really the final thought that I have is f*** originality, f*** perfection, f*** motivation. Make what you want when you want, be happy. That's how you get good vibes. That's the Matty B guide to YouTube. I completely made that up. That's not even in the script. Thank you all so much for really giving me 10 years of incredible vibes. I feel so lucky to have the people that I have around me who are here because of this channel. I think I'm going to end this video here. Thanks so much for watching. I love you. How about that? I'll see you in the next video. Ta-da.